Have you ever caught your cat staring at you, eyes wide, silent, and still, as if it's trying to read your soul? Eyes. Maybe it's late at night, the room is quiet, and suddenly, you feel those glowing eyes locked onto you. It's almost like your cat knows something you don't, something hidden, something ancient. Most people laugh it off or scroll past cute videos online, but what if I told you that stare isn't random? What if your cat's gaze carries a message, one that connects to emotions, memories, and energies humans can barely understand? This isn't just about curiosity, it's about connection. The bond between you and your cat is far deeper than you've ever imagined, and once you understand what that stare truly means, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. The silent language of the eyes. It begins quietly, always quietly. You might be sitting at your desk, scrolling through your phone, or lost in a sea of thoughts, when you suddenly feel it, that weightless yet undeniable sensation that someone's watching you. You lift your head, and there they are, your cat, motionless, unblinking, eyes deep like two mirrors reflecting something more than just your face. That moment isn't random. It's the beginning of a conversation, one without words, yet heavy with meaning. Cats don't waste their gaze. Every stare, every slow blink, every slight tilt of the head is deliberate, a fragment of an emotional code that only the heart can translate. Their silence is their language, and their eyes are the ink with which they write their feelings upon your soul. When your cat stares at you, they're not just looking. They're feeling. That stare carries curiosity, trust, and, sometimes, quiet longing. In their world, sight isn't merely about vision, it's about connection. The way a cat looks at you is the way they reach out to understand the invisible bridge between your energy and theirs. You are their world, their source of warmth, their rhythm of safety. And through that silent stare, they're reminding you that you belong to their universe just as much as they belong to yours. There's something ancient about that exchange, something that feels almost spiritual. Scientists may explain it as bonding behavior or attention seeking, but deep inside, you sense it's more than that. It's as if your cat sees through you, beyond the layers of your daily mask, into the truth of who you really are when no one else is watching. They read emotions like pages of an open book. They see sadness behind a smile, tension behind laughter, and love even when you're too tired to show it. In a world filled with noise, your cat's stare is the calm in the storm, a reminder that not all relationships need words to be profound. That look, that unbroken gaze, is your cat's way of saying, I know you. I feel you. I see you. It's not judgment, it's not demand, it's pure recognition. And sometimes, that's all a heart needs to heal. So the next time you catch those eyes fixed on you from across the room, don't look away. Meet their gaze. Because in that moment, you're not just a pet owner. You're part of an ancient dialogue between species, a silent friendship that speaks louder than sound. The eyes that remember. When your cat stares at you, it's not just curiosity, it's memory. Those golden, emerald, or sapphire eyes are tiny time machines, replaying moments they've shared with you, moments you didn't even realize were being recorded. The first time you held them, their first nap on your lap, the sound of your voice whispering their name in the dark, they remember it all. And every time they gaze at you, those memories ripple behind their eyes like light dancing over water. To a cat, you are not just another human in their space. You are the center of their emotional universe. They watch you not because they're confused, but because they're studying every heartbeat of your soul. Cats are deeply intuitive creatures, they sense energy more than they understand words. Your tone, your breathing, even the rhythm of your footsteps, all tell a story they can read. That stare? It's their way of syncing with your emotional frequency, of making sure they still understand the human they've chosen. But here's where it gets deeper, cats remember who you were long before you became who you are now. When life wears you down, when the smile fades, when the spark dims, your cat notices before anyone else does. They stare not in judgment, but in recognition. As if to say, I still see the same you. You haven't disappeared, just hidden beneath the noise. Their stare carries an echo of every silent moment you shared, the nights you sat awake, the days you came home exhausted, the mornings when you laughed and called their name with joy. Your cat has watched your life unfold, and through those eyes, they keep your story safe. There's no timeline, no conditions, just an unspoken loyalty that never asks for anything in return. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful. Because while humans forget, get distracted, or drift away, your cat remembers, quietly, faithfully, without question. Every look they give you is a gentle reminder that you are seen, even when you think you've faded into the background. So when your cat locks eyes with you, don't break the connection. Look closer. Behind that stare lies a lifetime of unspoken affection, proof that love doesn't always need language to be eternal. The Watchers of the Soul. There are moments when life feels heavy, the kind of nights where silence fills the room, and even your own thoughts feel too loud. You sit there, lost in a storm of emotions you can't explain, and then, you feel it again. That familiar stare. Your cat, sitting quietly across the room, watching you with an intensity that feels almost supernatural. At first, you might think it's coincidence that they're just looking. But stay still long enough, and you'll realize something profound. Cats can sense what words fail to express. Their eyes become mirrors of your unseen pain, your hidden stress, your quiet loneliness. They don't look away because they're trying to anchor you, to remind you that in this vast, confusing world, you are not invisible. Ancient cultures believed cats could see beyond the physical, into energies, emotions, even the unseen layers of the human heart. And perhaps they weren't wrong. When you're sad, your cat stares longer. When you're anxious, they follow your movement, studying every gesture. When you cry, they inch closer. Maybe they don't understand tears, but they feel the vibration of your sorrow. Their stare is their empathy, silent, pure, unwavering. Some nights, they sit near the door or your bed, eyes glowing like embers in the dark. It's not fear, it's guardianship. That watchful gaze is ancient instinct blended with deep affection. Cats, in their mysterious way, protect not just spaces, but souls. They stay alert, as if standing guard over your energy, shielding you from the invisible tides that humans can't perceive. Their stare, in those quiet hours, is their way of whispering, "I'm here. You're safe." And that simple, wordless assurance can feel more healing than any sentence spoken aloud. Because sometimes, we don't need someone to fix us, we just need someone to see us. So when you catch your cat watching you in those moments of stillness, know this: they're not judging, not waiting, not demanding. They're simply being there. In a world that forgets how to pause, your cat becomes your stillness, your reminder that even silence can hold love. The ancient bond between souls. Every creature on this planet carries a story older than language, a whisper of connection that runs through time itself. And when your cat stares at you, Doc, it's as if that ancient story awakens again, as if something far older than you or them is silently remembering. Their eyes, deep and endless, are like portals to a place where energy never dies, only transforms. For centuries, civilizations have seen cats as messengers, guardians of spiritual energy, companions of mystery, keepers of balance between the seen and unseen. The Egyptians carved their images in stone, believing that cats were protectors of the soul. In Japan, they're symbols of good fortune. In Celtic lore, they guard the passage between worlds. But what if, in your home, that sacred myth still breathes quietly every day? When your cat looks at you, they aren't just looking at a human, they're looking at the energy of who you are. They sense the rhythm of your spirit, the vibrations you give off even in silence. Their stare tunes into you like a frequency, not to control, but to connect. You see, to a cat, energy doesn't lie. They can feel when something shifts in you, when love grows, when peace fades, when grief settles like fog in your chest. They don't need words, they simply know. Some spiritual thinkers believe that a cat's stare is a reflection, that when they gaze at you, you are actually looking into a mirror of your own soul. Their calm, unbroken focus teaches you what you've forgotten in the chaos of human life: stillness, awareness, and presence. That moment of shared gaze is meditation in motion, two beings, one silence, no masks. And perhaps, Doc, that's why it feels so haunting, because somewhere deep inside, you recognize it. Maybe your souls have crossed paths before. Maybe that bond was written long before this lifetime, and the universe simply found a new way to bring it back to you, in the form of a small, warm creature with quiet paws and endless eyes. The truth is, your cat's stare isn't random, and it isn't ordinary. It's an echo from the fabric of existence itself, a reminder that love, in its purest form, doesn't need words, promises, or explanations. It simply exists, staring back at you, waiting for you to notice. The moment of understanding. One day, you'll be sitting quietly, maybe with a cup of tea beside you or a soft song playing in the background, and your cat will climb onto your lap. They won't meow, won't move, just curl up and look at you. That stare, calm, deep, infinite, will hit differently this time. You'll realize it's not about mystery anymore. It's about understanding. Your cat's gaze is their way of speaking in the oldest language of all, the language of presence. In that moment, they are telling you, I'm here. I see you. And that's enough. It's a message that carries through centuries of companionship between human and feline, a bond that never needed translation. When you look back into those eyes, you're not just seeing a pet. You're seeing reflection of peace, patience, and unconditional love. Your cat has watched you through every season of your life, the laughter, the loneliness, the chaos, and the calm. They've been there when words failed, when people disappeared, when the world felt too fast and too cold. Their stare, through all of it, has stayed constant, grounding you, reminding you that love doesn't always need grand gestures to be real. Sometimes, it's as simple as two eyes meeting in silence. And here's the truth that shocks most people: that stare you thought was random? It's your cat's way of saying thank you. Thank you for the food, yes, but more than that, for the warmth, the safety, the quiet companionship. You became their world without realizing it. You became their home. Every stare is a whisper, you're my human. If you ever lose yourself in the noise of life, remember that somewhere, a small creature still believes in you completely. They don't see your flaws, your mistakes, or your failures. They only see the soul that loves them, the one they chose to trust. So, the next time your cat stares at you, don't laugh, don't look away. Breathe in that moment. Because in that silent exchange, something eternal passes between you both. Something that reminds you that connection doesn't need words, that love doesn't need sound, it only needs understanding. And when your cat finally blinks slowly, eyes softening, it's their way of saying goodbye to the moment, not to you, because they know love never really ends. It just changes shape, from a stare to a feeling that stays with you forever.